Welcome to the deep dive. Today, well, we're tackling something lots of you classic Tamiya RC fans run into.
Yeah, thinking about those grasshoppers, the hornets,
Yeah.
great buggies.
Exactly. And the big question is always runtime, right? How do you fit modern, higher capacity batteries in there?
It's tricky.
So we're going to dig into one specific idea. Does using a low-profile servo actually help you cram in bigger NEMH or LiPo packs?
Right. We've looked at the servo specs, the chassis design itself, that bottom-loading battery compartment on the Grasshopper, Hornet, Super Hornet, and those types.
And also battery sizes, shapes, what users are actually saying fits or
Yeah,
doesn't fit.
correct. The goal is practical advice, no confusing jargon, just what works.
Okay, so the intriguing question driving this. Is that servo swap a simple fix for more juice, or are we bumping up against some more fundamental limits?
That's what we need to figure out. Let's maybe start with the servos themselves.
Good idea. Standard versus low profile. What are we actually talking about in terms of size difference?
Well, the main thing, the only thing really, is height, your standard servo, usually around, say, 37.5 up to maybe 40.7 millimeters tall.
Okay, and low profile.
Significantly shorter. We're talking maybe 23.6, sometimes up to about 30 millimeters.
Yeah.
So you're saving, what, 8 to 17 millimeters vertically? That's quite a bit.
It sounds like a lot. So how does that actually play out in these Tamiya chassis? Like the Grasshopper or Hornet, where does the servo even sit relative to the battery?
Right, so these share that classic bathtub chassis design. It's basically one molded piece, and the battery slides in from the back going towards the front. Underneath everything, the servo. It's directly above the front section of where that battery ends up.
Ah, okay, I see. And that battery space is pretty tight, isn't it? What are the rough dimensions?
They are tight. Length is the main killer, usually around 130 to 136 millimeters max. Width is maybe 47 to 50 millimeters, and height really restricted, like 24 to 25 millimeters.
So with the standard taller servo sitting right above that limited height.
Exactly. It can really crowd the space above the battery, especially pinching wires if they come out the top or front of the pack.
Okay, this is clicking now. So if you put in that shorter, low-profile servo, does it actually let you fit a physically taller or longer battery?
See, that's the common misconception.
Hmm.
It actually doesn't change the internal dimensions of the battery compartment itself, the length, width, height constraints. They're still exactly the same.
Oh, right. So what does it do then? What's the actual benefit?
The main benefit, and what people report, is creating more vertical clearance above the battery. It's really all about managing the wires.
Ah, so for wires coming out the top or front of the pack?
Precisely. It gives them room, makes it easier to install the battery without straining or damaging the wires or connectors. Less pinching.
Okay, so it smooths out the installation for batteries that already fit dimensionally, rather than letting you use fundamentally bigger ones.
You got it. It's about wire safety and convenience for compatible batteries.
Makes sense. So let's talk about what actually does fit then. What are the real limiting factors we need to focus on?
Dimensions, dimensions, dimensions. Length is number one. Like we said, around that 136 millimeter absolute maximum. Often a bit less is safer.
Okay.
With around 47 millimeters, height around 25 millimeter. But also, shape plays a big role.
Shape. How so?
Well, the chassis often has rounded internal corners. So traditional rounded stick packs, you see these with NEMH and some LiPos, they just conform better.
Right, compared to a sharp-cornered rectangular battery.
Exactly. A rectangular hard case might technically be within the length with height limits, but the square corners might still catch or just not sit right.
Okay. And wire exit point matters too, you mentioned.
Yeah, because of that servo clearance issue. Wires exiting the top or front end of the pack are most likely to benefit from a low-profile servo. If they exit the side or middle, it's usually less of an issue.
Got it. So thinking about specific battery types, NEMH first, what kind of capacity can you realistically fit?
With NEMH, you can often find packs up to maybe 3,600 milligar that are around 135 millimeters long, like a Gens Ace 3000. Those usually fit.
But bigger ones, like 4,000 millimar or 5,000 millimar.
Generally too long, like an Onyx 5,000 milli, no way.
Yep.
We've even seen reports of packs like an EcoPower 4,200 millibar not fitting. Even though the listed specs looked okay, length is just critical.
Okay, what about LiPos? That's what many people want to use now.
LiPo gives you more options, arguably. The best bet is often a rounded hard case, that stick pack style LiPo.
Extreme shape advantage.
Exactly. You need to aim for ones listed at 136 millimeters, or ideally slightly less. Brands like Core RC, maybe GART POT, have offered suitable ones, but you have to check the actual dimensions carefully. They can vary.
What about shorty LiPos? They're much shorter.
Yeah, lengthwise they fit easily. They're under 100 millimeter, but they're, well, short. You'll need foam blocks or spacers to stop them sliding around inside that long compartment.
Right. And the rectangular hardcase lipos, generally avoid.
Generally, yeah. They're the most likely to cause fitment headaches. We saw one example, a Roaring Top 5200, just 2 millimeters too long. High-capacity ones from Z or Gen's Ace are almost certainly too long or the wrong shape for these old chassis without modification.
Okay. So let's sort of tie this all together. The low-profile servo, helpful, but not a magic bullet.
Not at all. It helps manage wires, reduces pinching risk, makes life easier if your battery already fits the physical box. Especially helpful for stick packs with top front wires.
But it doesn't create space that isn't there. The primary bottleneck remains the physical dimensions of that battery compartment.
Absolutely. Prioritize shaped, rounded stick packs are usually better. And, crucially, measure that length. Keep it under 136 millimeters.
So wrapping up, if you want more runtime in your classic Grasshopper, Hornet, or similar Tamiya, focus first on finding a battery, probably a rounded Lyco stick pack under 136 millimeters long, that physically fits the compartment.
That's the core challenge.
A low-profile servo is a nice upgrade, for sure. Makes installation cleaner, safer for the wires. But don't expect it to let you shoehorn in a battery that's fundamentally too big for the chassis.
Precisely. Manage expectations on the servo swap. It's a helper, not a solution in itself for size issues.
All right. So here's something to think about then. Given how tight these constraints really are, what other clever tricks or, workarounds might Tamiya fans have figured out?
Yeah, that's a great question. Are people maybe finding ways to mount batteries differently? Or making small, maybe reversible chassis mods? It makes you wonder what other ingenious solutions might be out there that push those limits. What do you think might be possible?